Oh my goodness, sorry about that. We're back.
Point out, most of the time.
Oh, do I have to do the intro all again? I'm not going to do it.
People work very hard.
If y'all don't know, y'all can look it up. Where it comes from.
But there is this sense that there's some systemic unfairness.
Absolutely.
And it sort of manifests itself in incidents like we saw with George Floyd.
Absolutely, and right now you're looking at live pictures from Sky 7 of protesters blocking Interstate 880. Just about 20 minutes ago, they moved from the streets of downtown, jumped on the freeway while traffic was moving very quickly.
Yeah, that was scary. Oh, and I guess we do this commentary. So this particular commentary is local. We're watching corporate-funded ABC 7 News here in local San Francisco Bay Area, and it's they've done a direct action to shut down 880 over by Jackson Street and
they're not even moving right now, and protesters are on both sides of the freeway.
Excuse me. And there's another house. No, there's just not enough people, dude. They're gonna run you over. Get the fuck off the freeway. Either fucking go big or go home. Right? And if there are people, if the community's not with you to do it, don't fucking do it.
People are seeing this.
Anytime I can count you.
Absolutely, and they will see it not just here but around the country.
Well, there's on the other side. There's like a whole bunch. Still not good. And the other thing they're not doing is they should be talking to the people, going, "Hey, this, it's only be a small inconvenience. We ain't gonna be here that long. They're gonna move us. It's nothing else. Just relax. Look at the motorcycle going through. It's like, come on, brother. How about it's like take a minute for dead people of color? Can we do that? Is that okay? Aside from the fact that people see that as a disrespect to the dead, and you get knocked off your motorcycle.
Interesting, diverse group of people.
So that's my feelings on that. That they should be talking to, or maybe there are some people. No, see, I think he's fucking with the truck. Probably a cop.
Asian folks, Hispanic folks, young people look like teens, early 20s, and I saw several middle-aged folks out there in San Jose, particularly today. It was
just running over.
Identify folks more specifically in Oakland.
They're going to get hit. People are going to get hit. Come on. You should be talking to people.
Demonstrating that sense that, hey, we're all in this together.
Telling them.
This is a problem.
Like, hey, I'll see you in there standing on the truck. What the fuck, man?
Marching through the streets there. He and Alex Gray did such a fantastic job for hours, taking us through, being our eyes and ears on the ground in San Jose as the crowd moved through those streets. And now here in Oakland, this protest started
I'm not
just
down with that.
over an hour ago now at 8 o'clock in front of City Hall at Frank Ogawa Plaza. And within about 45 minutes, 50 minutes, moved onto the freeway.
Unless he invited him up.
For the past 15, 20 minutes or so. Those protesters are moving closer to that Safeway Big Rig. Dan, it looks like someone's climbing on the hood of the truck. It looks like several people are up there protesting. Probably a scary moment for that truck driver, I imagine. I imagine really for all of the people.
Thank God the truck driver's calm, because again, that doesn't like you're hoping that the person driving that truck has more humanity than you for smashing his windows and his truck and all that. That he doesn't give a shit about his truck more than he fears for his life or her life. Sorry, their life. Language matters. Because if they decided to just look at that monkey see, monkey do, and then another truck. If he just decided they just decided to drive, you're dead. And I don't know if if they got so scared and they drove and ran over all those people. Oh, and then now they got one of these cars. Did they open their own door?
Somebody says something. Somehow it gets escalated. And here you see
they look like
an example of people deciding, just stopping traffic isn't enough. Let's start climbing on vehicles.
Right, when really, again, they should be organizing.
Absolutely, and I wonder also, do they have anywhere else to go? So are they just standing on the freeway? Because now we saw that police were blocking the on-ramp. I'm not sure where these protesters move unless they go back where they came from.
They usually
should
tell them.
Where we saw those police cars, there's a group of people linking arms there. And as the police are moving onto the freeway, it looks like the protesters are linking arms and moving closer.
Oh, they're throwing things at the police car. Bet you're a cop! With your fucking flashlight, strobe light. Bet you're a
So now
fucking,
we see
bet you're
a
a cop.
protester holding on to the front of a police car,
Bet you're a cop.
an SUV, as it tries to move forward through the freeway. They're moving on, Dan.
Maybe going to.
And my other one is that too, is again, since it's not organized, unless you have
Maybe,
most
and
of
I
those
wonder if
people
that's
willing
the
to
protesters'
fight the
intention
cops,
to
you're
stay
just
there and
endangering all those
block
innocent
traffic,
people.
or if they're
Yeah,
gonna
this
move
is
down
Vicente
the
Cruz,
freeway.
Oakland Green Party,
We
Oakland
saw them on
Greens,
the cabs of those
Day
two
Jobs,
trucks a
Step on
moment
It
ago,
presents On the
and you
Road
can
with
see the
Doe,
traffic is still
and
blocked in both lanes.
ooh, should we do some self-promoting? So I can edit it kind of, maybe it'll
Again,
be
this
silent
is
enough.
Interstate 880 in downtown Oakland. This
I
started at the Jackson Street
Moved some
on-ramp,
furniture
and
out
now
because we're going to be
protesters
putting
moved a
in
little bit farther down
an
the
interview
freeway.
studio, little
You can
podcast
see
studio
traffic still
in the
trying
living
to
room.
move through.
So
Dan, it looks like there's
we'll be doing like
some sort of
shows
first responder vehicle right there.
deep
that
inside,
the
and things
crowd of
will actually be
protesters
happening.
is crowding on the on-ramp. It looks
Okay, now
like
that looks like an ambulance. You're going to really stop the fucking ambulance from getting grandma? Really?
You know, a different element to this protest than we saw earlier in Oakland, and then of course in San Jose it was bright daylight.
I think you're right. It is an ambulance.
Did they get off of the trucks? Looks like they did. Oh, because they were going to go and try to fuck with the police. Ha! Fuck the
A lot of
police.
people on the freeway, as you can see, and as Sky 7 pulls back, you can see the impact on traffic on the 80, no surprise.
Actually, yeah.
The freeway, even in this time period of shutdown, it's very, very crowded.
Oh, did
Okay,
he
and
shut
even in
down?
this period where traffic is minimal compared to what it usually is around the Bay Area,
You probably had to stop and
Traffic backs up
restart.
very
That is
quickly.
Andrew
Shut down.
Mercado.
and there are several hundred people out on the freeway now. We've seen, as you saw with us, folks climbing on
Battery.
the semi-truck, on the cab of the semi-truck, probably 5 or 6 people. Looks like they've gotten off the car now into the truck.
No, looks like he is not back up yet. Something might have happened. I wasn't.
Let's see as we and still no police presence up there. I don't see any
I was
from
not.
what I can tell. Police
I
presence.
was
there,
not.
but there are
It didn't look like he was
protesters,
redoing it again.
some on bicycles,
But you should
some
check him out.
carrying
Give him credit he
signs,
deserves.
Some carrying lit flares, the kind of flare you keep in the back of your car for the tire.
Bet
emergency.
that's a cop. Bet the flares, the lasers, the flashing lights. But those are cops.
And Kate, you were saying,
And
I agree
drying my
with you,
pillows.
It makes you
Our
nervous
pillows.
to see people. It made me nervous watching that protester.
He did, and cars are still trying to go around. Yeah, yeah.
Putting his
Oh, is he
hands in the
turning?
brush
What's he
bar of
doing?
the police vehicle standing
But yeah,
in front of
it's
it as
making me
the officer trying
nervous
to
too.
get by. It does. It takes a moment for him to trip and fall backwards and hit his head and be seriously injured, and the officer to run him over. It always makes you nervous when moving cars around groups of people.
Yep.
Absolutely. A very dangerous situation continues here in Oakland on 880 as all these drivers became inadvertently trapped in the middle of this protest, which started off very peacefully in front of Frank Agawam Plaza. And for the most part, we haven't seen the clashes between police and these protesters that we saw in San Jose, but we also haven't seen the police officers, for example, up on the freeway, which I'm sure is a very intentional tactical response from the CHP and from OPD, who have been out on scene tonight on the streets. But so we haven't seen that clash that we saw in San Jose, but what we are seeing, of course, is these protesters getting close to these civilian cars, climbing on the cabs of these big rigs. It looks like this car right here, maybe just trying to turn around and go the wrong way down the freeway to get out of this. I'm sure there's some very nervous drivers, not quite sure what they're sort of stuck in the middle of.
Yeah, now interesting, as you said, Kate turning around and trying to go the other way, presumably.
You can see they're driving now, not sure what to do
Nowhere to
because
go.
it's the wrong way on the freeway, which is
Not a good idea either.
not a good idea either.
Well,
Like that, I would have did it.
it's an intimidating and frightening situation for those drivers stuck in traffic, and as law enforcement tries to figure out how to handle this.
Nah,
ending and
they're leaving.
flowing
They're leaving.
Protesters.
I said, see, if they would have went up to people and said, hey, we're going to be here like 15 minutes.
And you can see that they all just moved off of one side of the freeway. Traffic is now all of a sudden moving. Why that happened, we don't know, but it looks like the protesters are now
Because it's just a
moving off
tactic.
both sides of the freeway, perhaps
Jesus,
back
man,
onto
not,
the
how old are
streets
you people?
of
You never
downtown
fucking
Oakland.
watched the
And,
History
you know,
Channel of the
Kate, this
60s or
is
anything?
Exactly what happened in San Jose. All of a sudden, sort of without warning, without reason,
because it's never about trying to stall the people there. It's like we take a moment of silence at the whatever.
And good evening to you.
Oh yeah.
Along with Kate Larson.
But yeah, but what they didn't do is no one was going up and talking to the people. They should have had flyers and hey, please support progressive candidates. And, hey, I'm a candidate. Can you please support me? Or hey, have you ever thought of running for office?
The streets of Oakland have seen protests of what you're looking at live from Sky 7.
Oh, and I know too. I could have did that for the Oakland Greens. Yeah, nope. 56, brother. I ain't fucking going out there and doing it again. We tried. I tried.
Yeah, Dan, they
I
were
was
on
in on it.
80. They
And
moved on a large group of
they've been playing the game too
protesters
long and
about
either
8:50,
disrupted us
about
when we were
20 or so
organizing.
minutes ago,
Shit, man.
blocking
Occupy
both lanes
was
of
just
traffic
talking
for
this
quite a
too.
long time until
There was just on
30 seconds ago, they all very
Unicorn
quickly
Riot,
moved off one side of
and
the
somebody was
freeway, had
talking
another,
about
and
like
you
what
can see
violence
that
is
both
and
lanes of
property
traffic are all
damage
of a sudden
versus
moving
people,
again.
all this stuff. I was
We
like,
just
man,
saw Sky
that was
7
a
overhead
3-day
the
discussion at
Road
Occupy.
freeway, and you can see, I know it's dark,
And
but there are still groups of protesters on the freeway.
even when the
This all
general
started in
consensus
Green
would be,
Plaza
well, you know what,
in
if the
front of City Hall.
major action
700
is
people
not an
gathered
action
there
where we're going to be
around 8
fucking
o'clock,
turning
and
shit
they
up,
moved through
then
the
you don't
streets
do
of
it because there's
downtown
babies there.
and
Like
onto
when we
the
had
freeway.
the radical families,
Kate, this is
right? And you have
exactly
52
really what
fucking
played out in the
toddlers.
streets of San
Yeah, you don't
Francisco
fucking start
today.
smashing shit. And if you are smashing shit, you're a cop. Again, you're a cop. You ain't with us because I didn't see you at the meetings, right? Because again, those were direct action stop. What was really organized. That was. I mean, Starhawk was already pretty famous. Bia Benjamin, she was just about to blow up. That was like Global Exchange and all that, and all those motherfuckers were just babies at the beginning.
Either, Dan, we've been getting all of our sort
Shout
of
out Shannon
information
Way, got
for
me
the
into
most
all that
part
shit.
from what we're seeing through Sky 7. We did have ABC 7 news reporter in Anchorage.
But yeah, my last action was the Lakeview sit-in, and that was
right
by
as the
accident.
protest sort of launched around 8
I was going to
and she said
the
that
Occupy
while
Oakland
everyone
Education
was
Committee and
very
looking for an
peaceful,
endorsement.
that people were
And they were
positive,
happened to be the same
and
meeting when they were
trying to
talking
keep their
about
spirits up, just get their message out, and
doing this
ensure
direct
that their
action,
doctor
and
was
it
not moving on the
seemed
freeway.
that there
I
was
think
not
we've
enough
got
logistical
one here
support.
on
I'm like,
ABC 7 News,
and
but
having
then
already
we
gone
continue on
through
digital.
We'll
some of the
continue on
shit,
digital online, so join us for continuing
in
coverage there,
larger
but stay here with
rallies,
us on
that,
ABC for
3-day
full
long
coverage
rallies
tonight.
and all the
Tonight
logistics
on
that go along
ABC
E
with
7
that
News,
and trainings
Kate Larson and
shit.
Ashley. Bye for the moment.
Yeah.
We'll take you back to programming.
So I ended up going, well, you know, I would love to do, my biggest thing is arranging security. So legal observers, lawyers, contacting NLG, having
And we're
the
back here
number.
on ABC7news.com streaming online. These protests
Yeah.
have been happening
Pretty good one.
throughout
What,
the day in the
27
area.
days?
First in San Jose.
Like that?
It started
A
around
month?
2:30 this afternoon on Highway 101.
That's
It
one
started
where,
off peaceful, but then it did escalate to
Dan Siegel's son,
clashes
Mike
between
Siegel,
police and a group of several
said that I was a
protesters
cop
for
or an
hours
informant.
moved through the streets of downtown San Jose.
When I was
And
over
then
behind,
around
I
8
was
o'clock,
standing next to Mike
large
Hutchinson
groups,
on
several
Media
hundred people
Day.
gathered in front of City Hall
I'm pretty
in
sure I
Oakland,
was
Frank
emceeing
Palmer
or something. I was
Plaza,
probably introducing
and
people.
around 8:15 started moving through the streets of downtown
But
Oakland,
yeah,
and just
he
about
was like,
20,
yeah, and he's
25
the
or so minutes ago,
or something, informant, or I was an
on
undercover
80,
cop, one of the
they
two.
were
I think it was
blocking both
informant
lanes of
because
traffic
it implied I was getting paid. And I'm like, and at the time, which was even funnier, is because I was almost on a downside. I was about to be living in my car. I was like, yeah, no, they paying me, they ain't paying enough.
Move or a flock of birds move in one direction.
It was
for one
funny.
reason or another. There was no visible reason.
And I finally did get. When did I get an apology? And I've never fucking talked to him about it. I gave him shit social media and like live interviews. Never talked to him, and he did not ever reach out to me as an apology about it until he started running for Congress or Senate, state Senate in Texas, and was afraid that maybe the Greens or somebody would like put it out. I was like, man,
busy freeway, cars going by at 65,
not,
70 miles an hour. Look at the fellow there in the middle of your screen. It is incredibly dangerous.
I mean, I cared as far as if any of the activists believed it and get my ass in trouble, get my ass whipped
absolutely
from
we've-
internal. And I was like, oh.
we saw
But
the traffic stop.
even people that didn't really like
Unfortunately,
me,
this is what happened
or
about
I shouldn't say like that
25
didn't
minutes ago.
agree with me
And you'll see the
politically
protesters
and
are
my
now gonna
approaches,
cross over the divide
things,
and go to the other side
did
of the freeway, stop
came to my
there
defense
in the
very,
same
very
manner, and then
quickly.
for 20 or so
Way,
minutes,
very
they
quickly.
gathered. They did climb on the calves of a couple big rigs for a
And
while, but
and yeah, that
otherwise
kind
it
of
didn't
squashed it.
seem
Like people
there
who
were
were
any
way
confrontations
down,
between the
right,
protesters
way
and
deep
either the
into
drivers.
groups
Stayed
and
inside
shit.
their
So
cars, which is a
they
good
came
thing
to my
while you're in
defense
San
very,
Jose.
very
We saw some
quickly.
of the drivers get
Yeah.
out.
And actually, many of the people too were like, "You got to be kidding me! That him? You fuck no!" That's so funny. People that actually
saw
knew me.
everything, stayed, I guess.
Yeah,
what
that
can be
was a
described
little
as
scary. You're gonna get hit by a car.
the freeway at
but they didn't. Nobody got hit. It was fine. Now they're off the freeway now. They're moving back. They're about to head. They're at the police station in Oakland.
As protesters continue to move through the streets.
But I don't think anything's been smashed yet. Not enough undercover cops.
This is live on the right-hand side of your screen.
So again, Vicente Cruz coming at you,
But we don't know,
commenting all night on the protests and riots around the country over yet another killing. Doesn't matter who name it is, because it'll be somebody else. You know, it'll be somebody else. And don't even mention the daily harassment of African American people, just African descendants, and descendants of people of color, and that are harassed by police every day, every fucking day.
At some point, the protesters
Just too much. And like, I did end up watching the snuff film as he got choked out right on in front of us. But I'm kind of against that too, right? Fucking torture porn, like African people's ancestries of the people of color shouldn't be watching that shit, man. Read the information. You don't need to watch it. It's bad. I was totally suffering from depression, a little sleep deprivation too. But what's going on up there too? Oh my goodness! Guys, what? Tell them! Tell them! What's going on? I know, right? Well, I know everybody's talking. I don't know what you're saying to each other, but y'all got a lot to fucking say. Okay, now enough. Odysseus Cruz, lay down. Good dog, listen.
In downtown San Jose today, it was originally one group of protesters, but
as
the evening
which hasn't been
on,
lately.
the groups got divided,
all
and
that
so there were sort of
Kaiser
different
shit.
pockets of
Shout out
protests.
Step on
And
it.
Dan Noyes and Alex Gray were showing us that
Yeah.
as they moved from one block to another. Police, tried to
This is
disperse the
right
crowd
by the
and then
police
shut
station.
down a block and then move to the next
Broadway.
group of protesters, and that's what you're sort of looking at here in Oakland. We've seen different pockets of protests and protesters, and now you can see the police lined up in the intersection of the
I'm gonna have to
crosswalk.
break this off again
in
because
front
I'm
of a very large
doing
group of
laundry
protesters
still.
on two sides.
All right, in the middle of this too, right? We're like on day 70 something, 80
this
something
is where
of isolation
protesters started to line up here
for the pandemic in San Jose, smashing some police vehicles. You know what? I'm okay with that.
Attacked by protesters in San Jose today.
Okay, I know why. Yeah, I understand. I'm not down with the civilian vehicles. I don't give a fuck even if they're not progressive. Fucking slave catchers, fuck you, police. Although I guess you could also, because I go down that rabbit hole, right? You could all make the case too, right? When they repair that, it's our tax dollars, right? And it gives them more excuse to up their budgets and take it away from education and healthcare. So
Protesters are stopped by police and they want to find some place to go. Police want to move in the direction that they want to move in.
excuse me.
Disperse them.
Good burp, honey.
Push them forward or push them in one direction or another and keep pushing them until the crowd begins to thin out.
Vote for Perot in the comments.
It was a little lighter, and Sky 7 was sort of perusing the area. We saw this blue, it looks like the cab of the truck in the middle of this intersection. So police
got
have actually
checking
been
out the
staged
catch.
here in this
Fine.
intersection for quite some time, at least an hour. This is 7th and Broadway, right outside OPD, right outside their headquarters, which is presumably why, one, police have gathered there, and two, why the protesters
Which
have
guy
gathered there.
exactly?
Of course, yeah. And making a point in front of the police station after what happened in Minneapolis Police Department. Huge police presence, but as you can see, far outnumbered by the number of protesters. There are hundreds and hundreds of protesters.
Oh, don't you worry, ABC News broadcaster. There's tons of police somewhere else.
Interim police chiefs who's a man
And the sheriff are somewhere.
a few weeks ago.
That's Libby trying to keep it as de-escalated as possible.
Certainly
When really, I just would love to see one time at least, what if the cop just didn't show up at all? No cop at all.
Said today,
I bet we would,
people's right to protest and free speech, but
Oh yeah, that is the police station. Oh, we would police ourselves. Ooh, see, and they're taking it. Or is that a flashbang?
Was reporting on this much earlier in the
Is
day,
that tear
but
gas
it's
from
a little
police?
bit
I don't
ironic
think so.
in
It looks
that
like a
they're
firework.
starting to
Yeah, that's
reopen
fireworks. They're
so
throwing at the
businesses
cops.
in downtown
Yeah, that's gonna set them off. That's a cop, right? Cops doing that. They know fucking protesters doing that shit because they know what happens. They know OPD how they roll. That's fucking agent inside. That's cops.
Some smoke. Obviously, we can't hear because our visuals are coming from Sky 7, but have to wonder sort of what's going on down there on the ground. We see, as you say, a very large group of protesters gathered on the two sides of 7th Street near OPD headquarters right now as police try and hold that intersection firm.
Yeah, you can see a couple of people throwing what look like sort of
Those are cops. Those are police throwing those.
And as we saw in San Jose today, this is where police would draw the line. You're not going to let them assault.
And also, with the other reason why they do that, why even their own fellow officers would throw things at them to provoke them, because then they can justify militarizing themselves.
Oh, Alameda County Sheriff. Thanks very much for coming on, Sergeant. What can you tell us about what's going on in the streets of Oakland and the response?
Well, we are obviously responding to Oakland, and things have changed a little bit, the tempo, and we are doing a mutual aid assistance to Oakland. So we're calling in officers from throughout the Bay Area to assist with the situation in Oakland. So right now, the tempo is changed a little bit. We're going to go out there to make sure that we can try to keep things peaceful and as civil as possible.
Sergeant Kelly, thanks for joining us. This is Kate Larson. We saw OPD out about an hour ago on the streets of downtown Oakland. We saw the CHP, of course, doing what they could to keep the protesters off the freeway. Of course, the protesters were on 880, blocking both lanes for about 20 minutes. When did Alameda County Sheriff's Department get involved, and where are your deputies right now, and what sort of
so we can report it to the fucking people on the street, on the ground
in this situation?
Well, we've been obviously talking to Oakland for the last few days, and we've been working with them. We are the mutual aid coordinator for Bay Area law enforcement, so we do this quite a bit over the last several years. So we coordinate, but we have a mobile field force of officers out in Oakland now, and we'll be, depending on how the tempo goes, we're ready to bring in more officers as needed.
How many officers, Sergeant, how many officers roughly are available in a situation like this?
You know, it all depends, but we've been obviously seeing what's been going on across the country over the last several days, and so a lot of agencies have held staff over. So most agencies will be willing to give us at least half of their workforce in a situation, depending on how difficult it gets.
So you can bring quite a few officers.
That's what you gotta say.
You can bring a significant number of people.
You can, but when you have multiple locations as well, each county can drain their resources rather quickly. So you have to be smart about how you deploy your resources. And so this is a minute-by-minute situation, and you keep your eye on it, and hopefully you don't have to do that.
Well, and Sergeant Kelly, you said the tempo has changed, and we've seen a little bit of that play out. But what do you mean by that?
Right back.
What